Everyone here is part of something that is much larger than our Mindfest, and you're helping to erase the stigma attached to mental illness and opening up conversations around our mental health. Today, it's my pleasure to welcome VIVEK MEHMI. Vivek is a musician and founder of the Humble and Hungry Artists Collective. In 2009, life presented Vivek with a huge obstacle when he started to experience severe liver and skin conditions. Fearing the worst and believing that he would actually need a liver transplant during the course of his life, Vivek slipped into depression. And over the next year, he undertook an arduous process of consulting and exploring various levels of help in our medical system to learn how to manage his seemingly insurmountable ailments at the time. By the end of 2015, Vivek finally found a team that was able to provide the support that he needed to help manage his challenging condition. With renewed confidence and a change in perspective and a strong foundation, he embarked on a transformative journey of healing. Vivek has performed at Northern Touch Music Festival and Conference in Winnipeg, the legendary Toronto $5 Rap Show, Mississauga's Living Arts Centre, Mississauga Celebration Square Amphitheatre, as well as various places in the local community from cafes to busking. His art has been recognized and supported through numerous grants and contributions from the SOCAN Foundation, Unison Benevolent Fund, and the City of Mississauga, Workman Arts, and the Mississauga Arts Council. In 2021, Vivek won the People's Choice Award at the MAC Music Spotlight for his video, Rubik's Cube. In 2022, Vivek's talent was recognized by the Mississauga Arts Council, and he was announced as a finalist in the Emerging Solo Vocalist category at the Mississauga Arts Awards, Marty's. Vivek gives back to other indie artists through his growing venture, an artist community and events organization entitled This is the Humble and Hungry. Under his banner, he and his team provide a platform for up-and-coming artists to showcase their talents. So we're really looking forward to your talk, and please join me in welcoming Vivek.
Thank you, Dr. Esplen, and I want to thank the Department of Psychiatry, all the sponsors, the organizers. A special thanks to Ben Gain for his support and help in organizing this. I want to thank Workman Arts and Scott Miller-Berry for recommending me for this opportunity. And I want to thank you all for being here. None of this would be possible without any of you, so thank you for sharing this moment. Thank you for sharing your energy here. It's a big day today. I think actually the sun is cracking for the first time in like 5 days. So that's the first thing I got to say. But also, it's Cinco de Mayo. It's Revenge of the 5th for the Star Wars fans out there. For the astrology people, it's a lunar eclipse full moon. That's a big thing. But above all, it is the 10th annual Mindfest. So please give it up for 10 years of this amazing event happening. It is my first talk since before the pandemic, so I'm going to be a little rusty. I'm going to do my best to keep your attention and keep you off your TikToks, IG Reels, your Snapchats. I think ChatGPT is a thing now, I'm not sure, but I'll do my best, but no guarantees. For me, intention is everything, especially in the healing journey. It's like stating to the universe what you want to get out of an experience. And it really allows you to focus your energies towards a goal. Today, my intention is that we are all open to possibilities and ideas. Now, we all have different journeys, we all have different paths, but it's important to realize that we can take from each other's experiences. And the way I like to look at it is we have these imaginary toolkits. And If something resonates, we can just fill our toolkits and keep it there for when the time comes that we need it. And we might not need it at all, but it's always nice to have that just in case. So we'll be talking about a number of things: perseverance, purpose, spirituality, community, self-love, and of course, healing through music. So let's get started. And what better place to start than childhood? Because a lot of our beliefs, our founding moments are created at these times. And as you can see, revisiting young Vivek, I was very intense, angry, impatient, hyper. I had unhealthy eating habits. And I'm pretty sure just before this pic or after, I bit my bro, and he still has this scar to this day. What you can't see in this picture, though, is I was quite short for my age. I had a Napoleon complex, trying to overcompensate for those feelings of being small. But it wasn't all doom and gloom. I had some positive attributes as well. I was passionate, determined, loyal, perseverant. And as we get through the presentation, you're going to see how that last one really comes in handy for me. But if I could go back, I wish I could give this younger version of myself a big hug and tell him it was going to be okay. Because as I was even putting together this slide deck, I can see how a lot of those insecurities manifested and played out in my life, in my relationships. As I grew up, I did find some healthy ways of channeling those intense personality traits. And I played baseball, hockey, soccer, basketball, tennis, martial arts, you name it. I had my dad driving me all across town, and thanks to him for that. And I wasn't also the tallest person, but what I lacked in size and strength, I made up for in will and perseverance. That allowed me to compete. In my teens, I had jobs that supported some of my talents and my gifts. I was a camp counselor and leader, and as I mentioned, I was competitive. You can see these are two of my best friends who are still close to this day. I was always concerned with what other people were doing, not at the task at hand. And that is something that I'm still working on to this day. In my 20s, I found boozing and partying. I was a very extreme personality, and I went overboard in that sense. And as I'm looking back, I can see now how the boozing and partying really disconnected me from who I was, from my true self. And now that I'm actually 8 years sober, I really have a lot more clarity with this time period of my life. But back then, I thought this was a normal existence. What all my peers were doing and how I should be living life. And things were normal until they weren't. You hear that health crisis happens after a traumatic event. Well, in 2009, I found out my girlfriend at the time cheated on me, and I felt sick to my stomach. I started getting these liver pains, these dull liver pains, some mild skin issues, and we went through levels of testing. Eventually, they diagnosed me with this disease called primary sclerosing cholangitis, which is a scarring of your bile ducts. And it has a varying survival rate. Most people need a liver transplant, and the outlook is not that great. So as you can imagine, I slipped into depression, trying to figure out what was happening with my body. And in 2011, I was transferred to a more specialized clinic at Toronto Western. And they repeated a lot of those tests, biopsies, MRIs, and they concluded that I didn't have that disease. Well, I was super grateful to hear that, of course, but at the same time, I still understood that something was going on with my body. And unfortunately, I wasn't ready to look into alternative healing. I wasn't into spirituality at the time. So I swept those feelings under the rug. And guess what? I got back into my partying lifestyle. 2014, though, that's when my real journey happened. And believe it or not, this is actually a picture of me getting better. I didn't want to haunt your dreams or make you lose your breakfast with some of the images of how graphic things really got. But I remember, excuse me, I remember waking up one day and having extreme exhaustion and feeling like I got hit by a truck. Tons of rash starting to spread, an intense itchiness. I lost almost 30 pounds, and to put it into perspective of what it felt like was a mosquito bite times 1,000. And I also, as you're hearing now, I developed some throat issues and some immune issues. But it felt like intense itchiness coupled with bee stings as the rash cut through my skin, and I was bleeding, and it was really gross. I saw upwards of 20 plus practitioners and doctors, you name them, traditional Chinese medicine, 2 naturopaths, a rheumatologist, dermatologist times 3, and things just kept getting worse. So at the end of 2015, when I was at the end of my rope and I was ready to give in and just call it, I found a functional doctor in Utah through all my research and Googling, and I remember at the time I shipped what was left of my hair for a hair tissue mineral assessment. We did metabolic tests, interesting kind of ways of uncovering this disease or what was going on with my condition. And in functional medicine, they really look at it from a holistic perspective and trying to find the root cause. But I had an unhealthy amount of gratitude because I thought everything was behind me. Unfortunately, it wasn't balanced or grounded. And in 2016, when my physical improvements started to reach a plateau, I remember going to a lymph massage therapist who I still go to that clinic in Meadowvale, Mississauga called Health in Hands, an amazing place. And they told me about a spiritual healer, energy healer. And at the time, I wasn't ready to make that leap into energy healing and spirituality, but something about it had me curious. So I took the information, I took the details, and eventually, after some apprehension, I booked an appointment with this amazing healer, Janet Amare. And now I've been working with her and her partner, Evelyn, for 8 years plus. And what can I say since that time? I've built a stronger connection with myself. My intuition has grown. My connection to the divine and nature has strengthened. And as you'll see in a bit, my creative confidence has grown. Janet's intuition was on the money. She said, artistically, you're on the fence about something, but you're not doing it with all your conviction. And for me, I believed I had to be healthy in order to do something constructive with my music. Little did I know music would be the healing agent for me to move things forward with my health. So in our first session, she handed me this book. And again, she told me you could do something with your music. As I read the book, I started doing the exercises. There's some journal prompts. I started to reconnect to my passions, my gifts, my talents. And I started to see where I found moments of joy in all of my previous jobs. And I started to connect to myself on all levels, emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical. You remember that old version of Vivek we saw, it was all aggressive and intense. Well, we did some regression work and we revisited Vivek's beliefs and those founding moments of those beliefs. And we started to change them and remove some blockages. What was the result? Well, I felt a shift in my creative process. I was more aligned. Things just came easier to me. I was tapping into my experience, my pain, and channeling it in a very effective manner. For me, music is a form of therapy. I've had therapists in the past, but it's something that you can't talk through when you create music. And as you can see, I entered a flow state, divinely guided, losing track of time. Music became healing energy, and actually, music is energy. You can measure the waveforms and frequencies on charts. And when I release music to the public, it's not just releasing it in that sense. It's actually a release of the emotional, mental, and spiritual trauma that I've gone through. And I've been able to do this through storytelling. For instance, I have a handful of songs that speak to a niche audience. And when I was in a health crisis, I did some food testing, some electroderma food testing. And I realized I had to change my diet drastically. So this song expresses the frustration and the shock of having to give up gluten, wheat, a few other things, and it allowed me to do it in a constructive manner. At the time, expressing the song, one second, I'll just take a sip of water, if I may. So at the time, it allowed me to constructively express. And now, looking back at all these years that I've been gluten-free, I don't even think of it as a bad thing or a negative thing. It doesn't bother me, in fact. However, in 2017, my skin issues reoccurred. And this was very, very drastic and devastating for me. I got back in touch with my functional medicine practitioner. We did a number of those tests, spent so much money on those supplements and protocols. But guess what? This time, it didn't have the same impact and it didn't help the same way. So I eventually took a leave from my job. I was a sales partnership manager, speaking of competitive themes again. And I quit that job in 2018 just to get back into another healing crisis. And again, it was my perseverance and those intentions, coming back to those intentions that I will be healthy, that got me through it. And of course, I leaned into my music with a deeper understanding, a more full perspective. I moved back to Mississauga to my parents' house, and that allowed my healing process to unfold. So thank you to them for the support. And as my health was balancing, I went to a number of open mics through the Mississauga Arts Council. And of course, I worked on my spirituality even more, oneness through workshops with O&O Academy. I went to Mexico to meet a shaman, which actually inspired this cover art. The temple had this outlook. And eventually I released this project in 2019 called Right as Rain. And that was a more comprehensive look of the healing crisis. And I take the listener on a light and through the light and dark themes of my healing journey. And the title has significance, Right as Rain, because you might have heard that meaning. It means to be in perfect health. And of course, having those intentions again, being the foundation to everything. And also, as we've experienced in the 4 or 5 last days, being in the rain is uncomfortable. Being caught in the rain is uncomfortable. It's not fun. But without the rain, plants, wildlife, nature cannot grow. So we have to honor that. So that's what this project is about. And this is me at the album release party with actually Isaac Daniel Eng, who's actually a U of T music grad, and he performs here at Heart House, an amazing musician. And it was fitting that I wasn't in perfect health when I released and had this performance. My skin was flaring, my throat was messed up, but I felt guided to show up regardless. And this is what this album is also about, is about showing up imperfections in all, and honoring where you're at in your journey. So through my journey, I've developed some mantras that I revisit from time to time. The first one being the pain has a purpose. So I mentioned when I have skin flares, migraine, headaches, my throat's all messed up. It reminds me that it's not in vain. It's not for nothing. The pain has been there to guide me, to show me, and has actually created my power. And through music, I've been able to turn that power into something really constructive. The second thing is everything at its right time. In the healing journey, there's going to be things that are out of your control. And the more I found that I tried to control things and force things, the further I got from where I wanted to be. So for me, it's all about finding that sweet spot between pushing and pulling, surrendering. And that has allowed me to believe that everything happens for you when it's meant to. In this pic, you can see I'm pretty thin, I'm pretty scrawny, And I tried everything to get that weight back, to get my eyebrow back, diets, remedies. But the moment I took a step back and allowed is when things happened for me. Another part of the healing process, you might have heard this saying, healing is not linear. And actually, deep healing doesn't happen overnight. I can attest to that. And there are layers that need to be pulled and healed at. And sometimes it's a very excruciating process. And it pushes you to the brink. That's what this song is about. It's about being comfortable in that uncomfortable state. And it's not easy, but the more we do it and the more we heal, the more you get used to it. It's also this song is also about learning to protect your energy and set boundaries, especially when you're an empath like myself. I'm so sensitive to others' energies. So this song is a reminder for me to have those boundaries in place. It was actually created in 2020 when I had another flare-up, but also when there was the onset of the pandemic. So a lot of inspiration. There's a really cool lyric video online on YouTube about it. And as I mentioned before, I changed my beliefs, and it was important for me when I did that to find people who connected with me and those beliefs. And in my healing journey, I was really isolating myself. A lot of the times it was just me in a room and Netflix. I'm pretty sure at one point I finished Netflix. And aside from the healing journey, though, I had a hard time fitting in, as I mentioned earlier in my life. So it was important that I found different communities that could see the real me and support me. And I found spiritual communities. A couple of my soul fam peeps are here. I found artistic communities that supported me in my art. I mentioned the Mississauga Arts Council, the city of Mississauga, and Workman Arts has been a huge part of my healing journey as well. And those have all been amazing things for me. This song is an example of the community and collaboration. There is 5 producers on the track. There's 5+ videographers who are on the track. And it showed me the power of collaboration and what can be accomplished when we all share the same vision and intentions. It was filmed here in Toronto, and it was filmed during the reoccurrence of one of my first flare-ups, and I'm very proud of it. I would love to share it with you. Do you all want to see it?
Sitting on this music for too freaking long. Sitting on my hands and feeling be going numb. I be wondering where last year's even gone. I weigh like $120, but I feel strong, don't get me wrong. There's things that you wanna prolong, like your date with death. Help me catch my breath, try and catch a break. Try and catch a firefly in the night for my inner kids say, hey, help me light the way. I used to fold with what they used to say, now I won't sway. In the morning, wake up, show myself that I still have today. Don't be afraid, steer in the direction of your fear. Bring it near, whisper in its ear. You ain't really here, watch it disappear. With sheer willingness to overcome, I'ma do it till it's
How do I
overdone.
move on? I've been here for too long. I'm feeling trapped and not too far gone. So save me, oh, been waiting. I know I can be strong, be strong, be strong.
Try to channel the station, not on your television. No dramatization, I was at the brink of elimination. Dropped the meds, picked up the meditation. Cause I couldn't sit with my thoughts without them dictating the conversation. Telling me all the things I shouldn't have or couldn't ask for. Trying to mask more without the feeling of abundance. Tired of not trusting and relying on assumptions. On my forest gumption that comes in bliss when you no longer resist who you are and exist from afar. Get a glimpse, you don't recognize me. Pocket see no changes, just a man more in touch with himself as he ages. Phases, I wanna move through but was forced to pause. Finding God in the music like Nas, so I pray to the stars. Realize the world is
How do
ours.
I move on? I've been here for too long. I'm feeling trapped and not too far gone. So save me, been waiting. Yeah. I know I can be strong, be strong, be strong.
breaking me was actually breaking me free from my limited thoughts and who I used to be. Cause we all have a tendency to expect the worst. But if you can hold on just long enough, eventually a day will come when the pain no longer hurts.
How do I move on? I've been here for too long. I'm feeling trapped. Am I too far gone? So save me. Been waiting. I know I can be strong, be strong. How do I move on? I've been here for too long. I'm feeling trapped. Am I too far gone? So save me. Been waiting. I know I can be strong, be strong.
Thank you so much. And one of the practices I'm still working on is self-love. For me, when my skin was falling apart, my hair was falling out, I was frail, I had a real difficulty accepting myself, looking in the mirror, loving myself in that state. And eventually I did this 21-day self-love challenge with an amazing intuitive oracle of your soul. And I was able to see all my negative self-talk, especially through meditation and journaling. Some of the things that came up for me was I was unworthy of success, unworthy of love. I can't be successful unless I'm healthy. Things things can't come easy for me. They have to be painful, and I have to work extremely hard for it. And I also realized I felt a lot of shame when relationships didn't work out for me. So having the awareness and bringing these things into the light really validated things for me and allowed me to really get a lot of my strength and trust in myself back. Instead of, remember that picture of me looking outwards and what other people were doing, I was able to really see my own path a lot clearer. So that was a really big thing. And I realized you can't have an amazing relationship with other people unless you have an amazing relationship with yourself. So I created this song, Love Myself, with this inspiration. And this is the foundation of the project that I've been releasing in stages called Relation Emoji Ships, so relationships. And this is another track I'd like to share, and a music video I'd like to share with you. Would you like to see this one too?
Help me, show me where I'm supposed to go. The pain's so deep within me, I can't grow. I do everything I'm supposed to do, but can't help me when I'm looking out for you. And I just wanna love myself. Just wanna love myself. Don't need no one else. Just wanna love myself. Yeah. And I wish I wasn't so hard on myself. Hey. nothing really registers. Trying to cash out, but life is an expenditure. I keep on pouring out, when will it be coming in? The harvest never comes, the same season. Hibernation and everything is feeling gray. I shed my skin, evolution, I'm the king of snakes. Or caterpillar, break myself down with acid. To be a butterfly, but my wings are flaccid. I won't mask it, things are really hard for me. You see my growth, I see my inconsistency. And yeah, I'd rather be someone who ain't struggling. They say to get ahead, you gotta put the muscle in. And I just wanna love myself, just wanna love myself. Don't need no one else, just wanna love myself. And I just wanna love myself, just wanna love myself. Don't need no one else, just wanna love myself.
Stop looking outside yourself and start looking inside. And my newest song is coming out on May 19th, and it's called Find My Own Way. And really, it's about everything we've been discussing here today, but just on a deeper level of trusting ourselves, trusting our path. And you'll be able to hear it on all platforms, VivekMehmi.com. There's going to be content on YouTube, social media, and I'm really excited about it. And now that I look back on it, it's another installment on the music journey. And through music, I've been able to find my own way. So I hope today I've been able to also give you some tools to add to your invisible toolkit, and so you can continue to find your own way as well. Thank you so much for being here.